Okay, everyone, welcome to our weekly Mindset Mastery class. So, as you hear me say every week, it is very important that when it comes to learning language, that a lot of the blockers that happen up here are removed or that are actively being worked on to be removed. So, today, our topic for our session is going to be micro steps to success, achieving big goals one step at a time. So, the whole purpose of today is that I want to teach all of you how to break your large goals into manageable tasks. This applies, I think, for any large goal you may have, but specifically your large goal when it comes to learning French and how to gradually build your confidence through small wins. So, go ahead and let me know, maybe if you want to type in the chat, what is your big goal with learning French? So the big goal meaning if you were to put that goal into one sentence, if someone asked you and you could respond the quickest, what would that look like? And I have some of your goals already. People have sent to me when they were joining the program. So go ahead and let me know in the chat what your big goal is for learning French. Or you can unmute and tell me if it's faster. Up to you. So Bruno, what's your,
Yeah.
go for it. Go for it.
I think that my goal is to speak fluent French because I live in Montreal and here it in French is very important. So I think my goal is to speak fluent, understand others, and yeah, that's it.
Excellent. Very good. I know we have other people in our community. They have different French level tests that they're trying to write. So TEF, TCF. So that is their big goal. They want to be able to pass that test and do well on it. So that is their specific goal. Others I know have children who are in French schools, but they don't speak French. So their goal is to get a very comprehensive understanding so they can support their child. They may not have to be the child's teacher because that's left to the teachers at school, but they want to be able to support them at home. And that is essentially where we're going to start today in terms of understanding what everyone's big goal is, because everyone's goal is going to be different. Okay. And then we're going to dive into how we break that down in order for it to feel achievable. Because sometimes we have the big goal and it overwhelms us. We say, I want to be fluent in French, but right away we snap into what we discussed previously, the reasons why that may not be possible. Oh, I don't get it. Oh, I'm starting too late. Oh, I can't remember anything when I actually do try to learn. So the point is breaking it down into smaller tasks, okay? And then we're going to understand why that's actually the most impactful way. So I want to share with you guys today, it's going to be a short video that I have found to be very impactful. Okay. And it talks about something very specific in terms of what happens if you get 1% better every day. So you guys can see, good, thumbs up. And now we're
The
going to watch
story
it
is
together.
about Team Sky, which is Great Britain's professional cycling team. Sometime in the mid 2000s, around 2010, they hired a man named Dave Brailsford. And at the time, Team Sky had a very middle of the road record when it came to performance on the world stage. They had won about one gold medal in the last 100 years, from 1908 to 2008. They had never won a Tour de France, the premier event in cycling. And when they hired Dave Brailsford, they said, we would like to change this. We'd like to improve our performance. We'd like to reach a higher level of performance. What's your plan to help us do that? And when they hired Brailsford, he said, I have this strategy called the aggregation of marginal gains. And the way that he described it was the 1% improvement in nearly everything that you do. And so they started by looking at a lot of things you would expect a cycling team to look at. They improved their bike tires and made them slightly lighter. They put a more ergonomic seat on the bike. They had their riders wear biofeedback sensors so they could see how each person responded to the training and practice that they did each day. They had their outdoor riders wear indoor racing suits because they were lighter and more aerodynamic. But then they did a variety of things that you wouldn't expect a cycling team to do. They split tested different types of massage gels to see which one led to the best form of recovery. They taught their riders how to wash their hands to reduce the risk of infection and keep them healthy. They even figured out what kind of pillow led to the best night's sleep for each rider and then brought that on the road with them to hotels. So Brailsford said, if we can actually execute on this strategy, if we can aggregate all these small changes, these little 1% improvements, then I think we can win the Tour de France in about 5 years. He ended up being wrong. They won the Tour de France in 3 years, and then they repeated again the 4th year with a different rider, and then just last year they won for the 3rd time in 4 years. And Brailsford's strategy really came to fruition at the Olympics in London in 2012 when they won 70% of the gold medals available. And so what I'd like to start us off with is the idea that small improvements actually can add up to a very significant change in a relatively short period of time. And this is just basic math, all right? If you get 1% better each day over 365 days, you end up 37 times better at the end of the year. If you get 1% worse, you take yourself almost all the way down to zero. Now, you might say, okay, well, 1% improvements are nice, but clearly no one is going to get 1% better every single day. So is that ever enough to accumulate to anything, considering that we're not going to be perfect all the time? And I would argue, yes. In fact, you can get 10 times better if you get 1% better 5 days a week, 46 weeks a year, so it's about 230 days in total. That gives you 6 weeks off for holidays, illness, laziness, and just generally not getting things done. But you're still 10 times better at the end of the year. And what I would like to propose is that the way to do this is not by setting better goals for ourselves or at our organizations, but by building better systems and obtaining better habits. In fact, you could say that the goal had never changed. They wanted to win a Tour de France each year. They wanted to win Olympic gold medals. It wasn't the goal that made the difference. Instead, it was their system, the way that they applied those improvements in a 1% basis day after day.
Did you know that you could be generating
All right. So that is a very impactful video. It's been impactful for me because there's been many times where honestly there's some big goals that I have and I go after. And once they come to mind, once I've dreamed these dreams, I've been a little bit of a chicken myself. I said, oh, you know what? Never mind. Or at least, okay, you had this big idea. Is it actually going to come to life? Are you actually going to be capable of doing it? So I can resonate when people are honest with me and they share that this is sort of their big goal, their big frog, their big monster that they're trying to acquire. So that video speaks to me and it says, listen, doing 1% a day better or improvement, or even like the video said, if you take 6 weeks off, you're still going to be improving by a minimum of 10% a year. Obviously, with language, if you're implementing it and practicing it, 1% a day makes a huge difference. Okay? So now I want you guys to, let's do an activity together, okay? Because as you know, mindset mastery, we're getting up here right, okay? Up here is so important. So let's talk about, well, Bruno, your goal specifically, okay? Now, I want you to let's do maybe a whiteboard, okay? We're going to do a whiteboard. And what I actually want is for us to break down the big goal into smaller actionable steps. Because like I said, everyone's goal and everyone's big dream they have for themselves with French is going to be different. So I want you to kind of get an understanding of what your path would look like. Okay. So We're going to get out a whiteboard because I am very visual. Okay. And we're going to work on what that looks like together. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. So, Eduardo, can you see the whiteboard? Awesome. I could see you moving, so I know
Yeah,
you could, good.
yeah.
Awesome. So, Bruno, okay. So here's what we're gonna do. Okay. So I want, and let me know if you just scribble something. Are you able to actually write on
Yeah.
there? Good. Or even if you want to use, like when we're writing our task, we can use the text. You can select on the left panel, there's like a T for text, so you can use that as well. So your big goal was to what? I'll write your big goal for you, and then you're going to work on your steps. So your big goal was to be able to speak French fluently. Okay, I know the reasons why, but speak French fluently to operate with ease on a daily basis. So where you live is French all around you. You want to just have it feel comfortable and easy on a daily basis. Great. So now let's talk about what are the steps you're going to take. I want you to think about 3 specific steps, and we can use T for the text, Bruno to write down what is the steps to get to this big goal. Okay, we're talking about breaking things down into smaller tasks. So some examples are, just so you get the wheels turning a bit, for some people, they might set a goal of learning 5 new phrases weekly. Some people, they find themselves in similar conversations. So it's important that they learn 5 new phrases, 5 new ways of saying something weekly. Another goal, just to brainstorm with you, practice speaking French 10 minutes daily. Okay, just throwing out some ideas. Uh, Maybe for you, you can have, you force yourself, you go out of your way to have 1 French interaction on a daily basis. So I know your brother speaks French, so who knows? That could be at home, that could be outside the home. But just talk to me about let's write down the steps that you would take that gets you to this big goal. So keeping in mind, this is the big one. Okay. Now we need you to get what steps? And let's think about 3. Okay. So what is the first? I wonder if you can, I know you can draw. Can you also write with the
Yeah,
tape?
I'm writing or I, yeah.
Oh, okay. I can't quite see it. Maybe my view is weird. Oh, okay. I see it over there in the corner. Beautiful. Okay, and now I want to, so I'm here to guide you in even how these goals are broken down. So when you say read books, let's be very specific about that. Let's say, because don't forget, that's still very broad. So let's think about the specifics. How many books or pages, even? That's micro, right?
Maybe like I could buy like a book with little stories in it and read one per week.
Love that. Love that. So I would even say that, or if you have a bibliothèque, a library near you guys, you don't have to buy if you don't have to. And you know what, Bruno, I actually like what you said. I'm going to give you an idea. Sometimes I think adults, we shy away from how powerful even children's books can be, because those are the ones that usually have the short stories, right? I always say to our learners that, first of all, having the attitude and the open-mindedness of a child is what gets us further, because they're they're humble enough to kind of receive the learning. So I would say even if you go to the library and you go to the kids section, I know it might be weird, right? And you might get some storybooks, but that's going to have some text that's going to have you understanding things faster. Okay, so I would say even from the library, I know usually I'm trying to think, maybe 14 days is their timeline. So I would say one book every 2 weeks is a good micro goal and it's actionable. I wouldn't expect you to be reading all these books, one book a day, but having one that you're doing once every 2 weeks is fair. Okay. Like the same one. Second one, listen to music in French. Yes. Love that. I actually meant to give you guys in another session. I have a Spotify playlist that I came up with. I'm gonna see if I can drop you the link in here. Do you have Spotify?
Yeah.
Yay! Okay. So let me. Do you do any exercise, Bruno?
Sport?
Yeah, like anything
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
because I called it a workout playlist because it is has a little upbeat, but wherever you can play this, I want you to do that. I'm gonna drop that in the chat for you. Since you like music, I love music. I'm gonna share that with you and anyone who is watching this replay, you're welcome to send me a personal message. I wonder if it's copying. Okay, and get this playlist as well. Because we have to be intentional about what we're consuming, and music is a way that French learning becomes passive. All right. Okay, so listen to music, and here's my playlist. I'll share that for you. If it's not copying, we'll put it in the chat. Okay, one more from you. So we have reading one book every 2 weeks. What else? Question for you. Do you and your brother ever practice, like, do you guys speak French to each other?
No, no.
Oh, okay, well, you have a free practice partner.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to practice more before you start practicing with him. Is that it, maybe?
Yeah, yeah. That's a good idea.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, we'll leave that, we'll leave that one as a third one, and don't make it complicated, okay? Just, I would say it depends, like even if you wanna do scenarios. So if you want to, you say you play sports or like you have different activities, maybe you can do something like you're telling him what you have going on that day. Okay, you're just like, okay, aujourd'hui, I don't know which sports, but just making it pretty casual because fluency is about the everyday language. Okay, so it's the everyday speak that makes a difference. All right. I'm having a little issue copying the playlist link, but I will send it to you in our community. Okay. So
Okay.
this is amazing. What you just did is amazing. Okay. Congratulations. So many people, they talk about wanting to do something, but then don't visualize, don't clearly outline what steps they're going to take. So this is your list. Okay. This is Bruno's list. He's gonna get fluent in French, okay, to operate with ease on a daily basis where he lives. And he's going to do that by reading books. Okay, we're going to do one book every 2 weeks from the library in French, children's book. Okay, listen to music in French. I'm going to share my playlist, but also if you have Spotify, look up French songs. Okay, if you're working out, if you go for a walk, if you do have driving anywhere, short drives, long drives, try to bring the French music into the mix. And there's some pretty cool French music, I have to say. Okay. And then practice with your brother. So your brother is not about being formal, but casual. Explain to him what you're going to do for the day. Uh, explain maybe what you're going to have to eat, what you're doing on the weekend, okay? Because that's really where a lot of that commitment is going to come from, okay? So, well done. Well done. Now, the next activity in the last few minutes that I want us to do is I'm going to ask you to, do you have your phone with you?
Yeah, yeah.
But you're not on your phone with this call, right?
No, no.
Okay, cool. So what I want us to do, because I'm a big component, like everything I do, it's usually in here in terms of my reminders and what my calendar says. Okay. So I want you to write down one small action. Okay. So of
Mhm.
these little actions, one small action that you will commit to daily for the next week. Okay. Daily for the next week. So that includes, okay, I'm going to share some examples. That could be practice 10 minutes a day. So based on the list you had, you said you would might speak to your brother. You said that you might have your uh, music en français going in the book. So whatever you think is feasible, whatever you believe Bruno can commit to, I would say write it down, but in your phone.
Okay.
Okay. So in your phone, 10, what are you going to do every day next week?
Yeah, practice with my brother,
Amazing.
listen to the music, read the book for children.
Beautiful. And what thing do you think you can actually do every single day? Like if you put it in your phone, let's say it's one thing. One thing is the same thing every day. Listen to, for example, 10 minutes of French music. But I want you to write something you know you're committing to doing because that's important. So
Mm,
choose one of the list and tell me what you'll focus on. Which one is it that you're like, okay, that I can do every day?
I think that the music, listen to the music.
Good. Yeah, I agree. I'm with that. That'll be actionable and that's something you can actually implement. Okay, beautiful. And why did you choose the music?
Because it's easier than I think it read the book
Right.
and it's just by myself. I don't need to be with my brother.
Right. Not that anything's wrong with being with your
Yeah,
brother,
yeah, not
but
not that's
it
wrong, but it's
it
easier.
it's easy. Yeah, so that is such a good approach. Do what you can actually commit to one step at a time. Don't say, "Oh, Elise, I'm going to go into every store and greet every store person in French." Maybe we're not there yet, right? So I like that you chose something that you can commit to and that it's going to be easy for you to implement. So that is what I wanted to share today. As you know, I want you guys to focus on all the reasons why you can learn French. And it's very much about the small steps that bring you closer to fluency. So take that in terms of how you approach your next big goals, okay? One step at a time. It's something we hear all the time, but if we really think about it, we're not very used to breaking down our goals into small, actionable tasks. And that's what I know has made the difference. When we set a bar for ourselves, let's think of all the micro reasons in terms of how we're going to get there. Okay. So that is our micro steps to success.